Hello out there, and in front of you today is the Boker Plus Lancer. And this is a knife that I never really intended to be in my collection, and it's not going to stay in my collection. This is actually going to be part of a new project I'm starting that I'll be talking about in my next video. But I bought this knife for that project, and it is going to be sent away and probably will never come back to me. And I wasn't expecting to make any kind of video about this knife at all, but just in the couple days that I had this knife and carried it, I really enjoyed it. And guys, that's not unusual. I mean, I like knives. I like a lot of knives. But the thing that makes this one so interesting to me is that there is not even one single feature where this knife stands out versus the crowd. You know, when it comes to like materials, build, quality, steel, action, lockup, there's nothing that this knife does better than everything else. But, you know, whatever it is, all of the pieces, when they come together, it just makes what I think is a really cool piece. You know, there are things about this knife that I just straight up don't even like, like preferences that I have that this knife just completely fails to meet. But for whatever reason, like I said, the total package is much better to me than the sum of the parts. And so I want to go over just a couple of those things today and just show you some of the details of the knife. And I don't know, maybe we'll figure out why I like this knife so much. So Boker Lancer here, this one actually is the Blade HQ exclusive variation. I'm not sure what exactly it is that is exclusive, because I know I've seen other models with this really nice stonewash. It might be just the stonewash with the black G10 scale, but it's on Blade HQ. And the reason why I'm sort of sending you that way is that this version is $39.99, while the other versions are right around $64. So you can get this knife, this particular exclusive version, cheaper than just the regular Lancer. So that's pretty cool if you're interested. All right, but looking at it, I mean, just the things that jump out at me as just not really being my cup of tea, let's say, is I really don't like this huge thumb hole. It works, you know, to flick the knife open, so that's helpful, but just the aesthetics of the blade, yeah, not really that great. The G10 traction is fine, but the ergonomics are, you know, it's pretty straight, so the ergonomics work, but there's no like good specific like choil or anything, no jimping. So, we have this inset liner lock. It is titanium, which is nice, but you know, even something like that, you know, the knife is fairly open when you're, you know, carrying it in the pocket, you know, and when you're using it and when you have it in hand. So I'd say, even though, you know, you can get a grip where it stays secure, there's always that risk, you know, your finger can just slip and disengage very quickly. So this would not be my preferred kind of locking mechanism setup either. You know, the pocket clip is titanium and it's decent and it carries nice and snug, but it's not the best clip. So like I said, there's really, you know, not too much about this knife that makes it better than everything else. One other thing actually is when you open it, if you're putting any kind of like side to side pressure to push the blade out, you hear that? It rubs. You know, so there are certainly some flaws with this knife. But again, what makes it so interesting is I am hooked on it. I love this thing. And I wasn't expecting that. And, you know, again, this knife is not going to be part of my collection, but I think I'm going to have to get another one for me to just keep. Because, again, that overall package is certainly, to me, worth a whole lot more than just each of those individual components that just don't really impress that much. I will say one thing that is extremely impressive, though, is this stonewash. Let's try to focus on that for a second. Give you a look at that. The stonewash is beautiful. We do have 440C on the blade. So, and again, I think at $65, maybe you could find, you know, if you're really particular about steels, maybe this is excluded at $65, but maybe for $40, the 440C is a little more reasonable. The knife's well built. And like I said, I mean, there are, you know, and it does flick open pretty well. But again, there's just no aspect of the knife where it's head and shoulders above the rest. Now, if you are looking for something really small and thin and streamlined and minimalist, yeah, this definitely does the job. And I'll bring out the scale real quick just to demonstrate that, because I think that this really does have that minimalist feel, and might be for people who are looking for that kind of carry. 2.4 ounces. It is super, super light. There is only, like I said, that one liner, and it is titanium. So when we're looking at, I'm trying to see other knives, Mass Drop Gent right here, which is actually a pretty decent size comparison. The Lancer just offhand seems, when you're just like looking at it for the first time, it seems to be significantly bigger, and it is sort of near like the butt of the knife, but overall length and everything, it's really not that different. So a little blockier. So that should give you an idea. And then looking at the thickness, a little bit thinner overall. So it is slim, and it has that going for it. It has a lot of things going for it, and I'm not trying to knock the knife individually, like the individual parts, but it's just not, in the forefront of the best when it comes to anything in particular. But man, I just really like it. I don't know, I just want it in my pocket. I've carried it a couple times. I wasn't planning on carrying it at all, and I'm just like, yeah, this thing is it's definitely a knife for me. So I guess my question to you guys today is, do you have a knife like this? Do you have a knife that just for some reason it calls to you? I've had a couple of them that do this to me, that, it's not necessarily the best material or not the best construction or the best philosophy, maybe even when it comes to the build, but it just is a knife that is for you. There's something about it, and there's always going to be room in my collection for this knife. So I'm going to have to end up picking up my own. And yeah, that's going to be that. So let me know if you have ever experienced something like this, guys. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. But any other questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, let me know down below. Also, stay tuned, because I do have a really, really cool new project I'm starting that this knife will be a part of coming very soon. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I will talk with you soon. Have a good one.